Once again, welcome to Lock and Load 2013. We are bigger, badder, and more high-tech with our fancy live streaming that we're doing here. So this is our third annual Lock and Load, and what we set out to do every year is just try and make it better than the year before, to make it more awesome than the year before, and so far I feel like we're off to a pretty good start.
Absolutely.
I agree. Do you guys agree?
Yeah!
All right, there we go. Cue them up. So the first thing we wanted to talk about today was to give a little brief preview of the next Iron Kingdoms book, Kings, Nations, and Gods. And this is the second volume in the core series for the Iron Kingdoms. And it's probably one of my favorites and the one that I think a lot of people look forward to. It covers the main nations of the Iron Kingdoms and the Iron Treaties. So Signar, Ord, Kador, Lael, and Protectorate of Menoth. And this is the book that dives in like never before. And one of the things that's really cool about it, and I'm going to let Matt talk about kind of the vision for the book, is that it takes the world guide that was done before to a whole new level in terms of depth and kind of insight into the cultures and nations. So,
yeah. So the Iron Kingdoms is a huge world, and it's going to take a lot of books to contain it. The first book in the RPG line is really about who exists in the Iron Kingdoms. Really, it's about who you are, your character, and the player that you are. And that just totally rocked me right off of what I was gonna say. So, if you played or read the original World book when we were doing the D20 stuff a long time ago, like Will said, that's sort of like that was our starting point for this book. But we wanted to make it bigger and to sort of own more of our territory and make it even more immersive. And one of the things that the highlights for me with the book, because a lot of the stuff is, I want to say we're rehashing, we're going back and we're expanding on and we're diving in deeper to this stuff. But one of the great things has been the opportunity to go back and do new artwork. And our original D20 books, they were all in black and white. And Mike Valancourt, our art director, has working with Ed, has done an amazing job. And a few months ago, I was in the office, and I'm looking at all of the new artwork that Mike had gotten. And I've said this a few times, so if you've heard this story before, as I'm flipping through this stuff, I felt like I was seeing the world for the first time, and which was pretty cool because it's been in my head for a long time. I know it's been in Jason's head and Doug's head and everybody kind of has a little bit of a different vision for it. But I think that the sort of like the scenic, the panoramic, the cinematic shots that are contained in this book are you'll feel like you finally got to see the Iron Kingdoms. It's not just character art; it's like these huge vistas of cities and ruined monoliths. And to me, it's been incredible just to look at.
Yeah, the images that you guys are getting to see here are just a couple of what's in the book. We really dove in, explored. We wanted to figure out what does the Protectorate of Menoth look like, what does Sul look like, going across the bridge, what does Caspia look like. We really finally got to see, because War Machine focuses so much on the characters and the battles and things, where the Iron Kingdoms is the details, and we really wanted to bring that through.
And so in another way to do that, not just with the locations, but was to really dive in and take the advantage of this book to explore the unique careers and opportunities that player characters have to really embody the different cultures. And so we have some really cool things from Doom Reavers to Stormsmiths to one of my favorites, Order of the Trident Arcanus, who are the Ordic Arcanus schools who are on the ships, and they can create windstorms, and they're very maritime in their traditions. And so not only just things that you see on the table in War Machine and Hordes, but also things that are almost essential to the lifestyles of the various nations of the Iron Kingdoms get to be realized in this book and give players a chance to really take their adventures to a whole new level. And so that was very exciting to get to take part in and to take a hand in. So we're all very excited for the book to come out, and you guys can all watch for it this fall, and hopefully you'll enjoy the vistas and the artwork and everything that brings to the setting, like we all have enjoyed making it for you guys.
Are we on to level 7?
Yep, we are.
Level 7 Omega Protocol. So just did a little seminar on that a while ago. I should really have Oz up here talking about it because he's the one that knows everything about it. And there he is, the man, Oz. So with Omega Protocol, we dive back into Subterra Bravo, and it's a brand new gaming experience. In that first game, Level 7 Escape, where you were playing a victim, a captive, and your only objective was to escape and to do it as efficiently as possible. This returns us to the location not as the victim but as the ass kickers, right? You come back as an elite commando team that has been trained to deal with these aliens and has worked with their technology, and your objective is to clear that place out. And so through 9 missions, you descend through the complex again, and it's got a really developed narrative through each of the scenarios in the setting, where Will and I co-wrote a story that I think kind of ends up reading a little bit like a short screenplay. In this one there's actual characters and they're developed and there's dialogue, and it gets really crazy, and you're either going to love it or you're thinking we're crazy. Probably a little of both, but well, hopefully you love it. But so it continues the Level 7 experience and the sort of storyline, and rather than tell this linear story like we do in War Machine and Hordes, every iteration of Level 7, every different game, every platform that we put it on, sort of gives you a new point of view, a new perspective, and a new experience, but at the same time it's peeling those layers back from the onion of this mystery and this conspiracy that we've been developing and revealing along the way. And then ultimately it sets us up for the next game in the series. So
yeah, and one of the very cool things about the approach that we took to Omega Protocol is that there are some core fundamentals to the whole game line itself. One of those being fear, and how we were able to utilize that fear mechanic not through actual being scared because you're a special ops commando, but through adrenaline. And the more adrenaline that a soldier spends allows him to do more, but it also feeds into the overseer player who controls all of the Gin and the creations from the Gin, the monsters, the clones, the hybrids. The more adrenaline the soldiers spend on their turn, the more adrenaline that overseer player has to use. So there's a very fun resource management system that both players have to play, and it leads to a little bit of that semi-co-op experience, which is another really important aspect of the Level 7 experience, because you have a team of players that is competing against one player. And so there are times where one soldier may need to do things to keep himself safe that may not benefit the other team in the short term, but will help in the long run. And the other thing that I really liked that Ed's going to talk a bit about is how this game really zooms in on the facility itself.
Yeah, there's can't tell if I'm being heard. There we go. So we really get a close look at the not just the soldiers, but the Gin and the clones and stuff within. So as a player running the soldiers, the commandos rather. Get my terminology straight. There's some great customization there because each sort of class has a specific loadout that you can customize and switch up, so that there's a lot of optimization with replayability. The same goes for the overseer side. You've got a dashboard and you can really construct some perfect traps. You can really use the facility that we designed, the look and feel of, to sort of construct your nightmarish horrors that you're going to run these commandos through. So you've got great tricks you can do with doors, great tricks you can do with the different elements. Some rooms that they have in their schematics may not be what their schematics are telling them. So there's a lot that can change and sort of be a surprise each time. And as the overseer, you get to actually specifically design those elements as you're putting together the scenario as we've written it.
And so, of course, the exciting next level of Level 7 is going to be hitting shelves in this September, but if you happen to be visiting us at Gen Con, you will get a chance to take a first look at it, and we're very excited about that. In addition, those of you who are taking the Level 7 experience here have an exclusive chance to actually play a prototype version of Omega Protocol and see it in action and actually get to experience what this game brings to you. So we're very excited to do that, and Oz Schoonover, our fearless developer, is going to be running people through that tomorrow. So look for that, and that's going to be very exciting. So after Omega Protocol, we've got another really exciting product to talk about, one that I'm personally super excited about, and hopefully all you are too. And that is our customizable deck building game, High Command. So High Command takes the action of War Machine and Hordes from the tabletop and puts it into a whole new level and a whole new game as a deck building card game that takes the best stuff from deck building games and the best stuff from collectible card games and other kind of player versus player games, and combines them together to create a unique experience where you take control of an entire faction over the entire scope of Western Immoran warfare, and you fight it out as you construct the perfect army from your reserves to try to defeat your opponents.
And this is a game we've been wanting to make for years, but didn't actually know what it was. In fact, we had several attempts at a War Machine and Hordes card game because we wanted to try and provide a gaming experience or an experience that let you experience. How many times can I say experience? War Machine and Hordes without actually having to glue your fingers together in order to play the game. So. But it never gelled right in between not having the bandwidth to produce the game or really not having the concept down. It took a long time to find this, but once Will and the development team pitched this game, it was that perfect thing, and it gives us this more of a 5,000-foot view of the battle of the war, right? Because you're waging a war as opposed to just that single battle, and it's great. And what we're hoping is that all of you probably know people who would be into War Machine and Hordes and this setting, but aren't necessarily hobbyists. And this is going to give you an opportunity to engage with them in this world that we all love.
And of course, there's so many things that we could talk about High Command, how excited we are, all the awesome play experiences, but we figured that that's probably not as exciting as actually getting to play it. So tomorrow and Sunday, we'll be having prototype decks here, and people who want to can come in and they can give the game a try and see how awesome it is for yourself. It's an exclusive first look for Lock and Load 2013.
Kick us off for vengeance.
All right, so what most of you are here for is because you're one of our tabletop tabletop war gamers, right? You love War Machine. Well, we're celebrating the 10 years of War Machine this year, and the big kickoff, Convergence of Syria. Everybody seems to be really digging it. Everybody enjoying it. We've already got some painted armies out there, which is insane. But our follow-up to that book is War Machine Vengeance. With Vengeance, we just wanted to sort of step it up, take it to the next level. It's going to be our follow-up to Colossals, and we've got a lot of cool and interesting stuff. Hopefully they've got the slides queued up in the right order. Go for it.
So obviously one of the things that got talked about at TempleCon that has people really excited, especially certain lovers of short, sometimes bearded denizens of the Iron Kingdoms, is the Rulik Colossal. And this really... The Gordson Earthbreaker really represents an interesting take on Colossals, and I'm going to let these two guys talk a little bit about how you go from, well, we've got these really short guys, and they usually build things kind of squat and more armored, and that fits their term, and then now all of a sudden they're going to build a Colossal, and I think it was a really fascinating process to watch.
Yeah, well, this was a lot of fun. I mean, we had some of the design fundamentals down just with it being a Gordson warjack, right? We had a lot of the beats planned out with the look and feel of those things, and I still think we got a nice squat model and a nice heavily armored model while just upping the scale. We really wanted this thing to represent the technology level that the Rulik folk are using. So they want to be able to move around through the mountains. We wanted this thing to be highly maneuverable. It might not be fast, but it can go anywhere that it wants to. So we gave it the multi-leg look, and then it's got the sort of construction elements. The Rulik warjacks previously have been sort of custom made from Laborjacks, and this one definitely probably has the most Laborjack feel of any of them, while also being completely terrifying.
You said everything that I was going to say, only better.
So as exciting as having the Rulik Colossal being shown, this one's one of my personal favorites because it's one that I lobbied for and fought Jason Souls to make sure that it made it in this book, and I really dig this design. So Retribution's been around for a little bit, and I love that faction. It's got a great look to it. They're missing something though. They were missing an apotheosis-sized character warjack. And so we decided to go ahead and push ahead and create one called Imperatus. And as you'll see, so this particular Myrmidon is not messing around. It's got a boatload of really awesome rules, some that are quite terrifying. Killing it once isn't going to do the trick with this guy. And that's really all I'm going to say about that. However, the other thing that I am going to talk about, which I think is very exciting, is that thanks to the efforts of both Ed Bourelle, Matt Wilson, Mike Valancourt, and our awesome team of artists, that art is obviously final, and it is sitting over in the Iron Arena prize section for people to buy with their skulls. So you could be one of the lucky 2 people, I think, to walk away with that print before it's even out in the book. And so that's very exciting, obviously. You can talk. But that's not all for Retribution that we've got today to show you. One of the things about Vengeance, obviously, is that all the factions are going to get new warcasters. And these guys represent the next pinnacles. So this fine lady is actually our new Retribution warcaster. Her name is Syria, the Sibyl of Dawn. And I'm going to let Matt talk a little bit about the concept behind her. She's obviously very Zen-like, and that takes a whole new take on kind of the Retribution that we've seen so far.
You're going off script, you know that, right? So I think my big contribution to Assyria was I wanted her to float. And that was like, I was like, let's make her float. And, and then we did that, and it was cool.
So we've got Assyria, we've got Imperatus, we've got some really cool big things coming for the book. So what's next for the rest of the factions? I'm sure you're all wondering about that. And so let's show off the big boy, the very first of his kind for War Machine. So Servas Resnick on his own
Who knew?
personal battle wagon, battle engine of pain. So there you go.
You've seen our banner up here to our right with Striker 3 on it. We had the illustrious Matt Wilson actually do the concept art for this guy, so I'll let him talk a little bit about that experience.
It only took me 9 months. This is the kind of thing I would have usually done in a day back when I was doing it all the time. But Ed somehow conned me into doing a couple of concepts over the past year.
I was there, and you offered to take some concept work at the meeting, and you said you wanted him specifically.
I have no recollection of that.
He never does.
But Stryker is obviously he's a character close to my heart, and I didn't feel right about letting somebody else do that, and I would have been jealous if somebody else did. and then I would have resented them and you and felt bad about myself. So instead, I put myself through the pain and agony of doing this. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I had it on my blog as I developed it, and it became a great opportunity to engage with people and really kind of get to see what people felt or who they felt Stryker was. And, you know, the most fundamental and important question, though, being, does he wear his goggles up or down? And so I believe that in our indecision, we just sculpted it both ways and put both heads in the model, right? I think. We did now.
Yeah, that always, every time. No, that's what we will be doing. He's in process right now.
Yeah. So surprises aside, even for our panel mates, and our fine sculpting team that's probably over there right now scrambling. You know, so we have all these great new epic incarnations of these really treasured characters. These some of them have been around since the dawn of War Machine. But there's one character that we knew even before we knew vengeance was a thing that had to be the model, the special release for 10 years of War Machine, to celebrate this game, to celebrate everything that the community has done, that Matt Wilson and Jason Solis have done, that Privateer Press has done, that everyone who's loved this game, who's bled for this game, who's played this game, who's done anything with this game, can really take and embody. And so the Butcher was the only option. He totally represents the unstoppable momentum of this game and this community and everything that makes it great. And to do him justice, we had to not just do Butcher in his third incarnation. We had to take it to the next level and make a piece of history for the 10-year anniversary of War Machine. And we're doing just that. And you'll be seeing a lot more information on how much hard work we've put into making something that everyone can put on their mantle and have as a piece of this market anniversary and this amazing milestone for Privateer Press and the game we all know and love so much. But needless to say, the Butcher has arrived, and he is with a pair of Argus, and that is thanks to these two guys right here.
Yeah, when we first started talking about the Butcher, you know, and some of the various things that we've added to hordes recently with the Warcaster, or hordes would have been warlock units, right? And I was like, man, why don't we do the Butcher as a Warcaster unit? But of course, no human being is going to want to be part of the Butcher's unit, right? Because that's just your end just waiting to happen. But I thought, you know, what about man's best friend? You know, what about some vicious, monstrous hounds that'll just tear across the battlefield and, you know, leave a wake of bodies behind them? When Matt reminded me, Khador breed Argus. It's been in there since some of the early books. I think the Monsternomicon, where the Argus first appeared. And I just, you know, we all thought that was genius. There it is. The Butcher and a pair of Argus, you know, and just mean. Everywhere mean.
Bad doggies.
And one of the things I really wanted to do, that I've been wanting to do since we've been talking about the 10 years, was how many people have the original Butcher versus Asphyxius Prime? I wanted to recreate that cover with the latest incarnations of those characters. So we got Andrea Uderzo, we've got the new Butcher with his full unit of Argus. We've got the Slayer, the Juggernaut, Asphyxius back there. We wanted to recreate that scene, update it to Mark II, smack it in the face, and send it to you guys. So you're going to be seeing this image a lot more. We've got some cool things planned for it. I'll let Matt talk for a minute if he would like to.
About what? Why do you guys keep doing
or
this?
I will I know. And I'll see what else Will wants to tell you about this whole thing.
So part of the impetus to revamp that artwork, that iconic artwork, is part of that collector set that I was talking about. And so there's going to be a limited edition version of that is hand numbered and will be available with that collector set, in addition to the Butcher and his hounds, as Ed likes to put it, with a exclusive scenic base that turns them into a beautiful display piece, in addition to a massive wooden collector's box that is brand stamped with the 10-year anniversary of War Machine, in addition to a limited edition collector coin, a certificate that's signed by this man right here that proves its authenticity. This thing is the thing that everybody who loves this game will want to have, and we're very excited to be bringing it to you guys at Gen Con this year. So watch for that. Don't worry, we've got plenty more surprises in store. It's okay. But so look forward to that, guys, and watch for more information because we're very excited to be doing that.
All right, so speaking of things you'll want to put on your mantle, right? It's not a surprise because she made her appearance last night, I think. But we released here the first Privateer Press Masterworks statue, and this is another project that we've had in the works for years. I think it's been sitting on Ed's desk for 2 or 3 years, right? Like
I got one that's been sitting on my desk for longer than that. Still,
wow. It's another one. Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Hey. So you guys have practiced this before, but I'm just winging it.
Yep. You're doing great.
But anyway, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at her, you've probably been through the store and seen her, and so our hope is that this becomes one of many. Like, we really want to continue with this line. I was telling somebody today in the store that I want to take every single one of those little figures on the rack and turn them into that. But while that's probably ambitious, we do want to bring a lot more of these characters. I want a reason to make, giant warjacks, and so we hope you guys enjoy the Masterworks line as much as we enjoyed making it.
I will let you know that I do have the concept art for the next one on the server back at the office, so we're just waiting for this one to fly off the shelves. And if we can make this line a success, I've got another object sitting on my desk. It's been there for a while. It was sculpted some years ago by Ben Meisner. We've got a little bit of repairs to make to it, but it's a little bit different than this. So it's a replica of an actual object from the Iron Kingdoms. So it is not the Witchfire. That would not fit on my desk. But I have a pretty big desk. I have one of the big desks. But we're gonna put that into the pipeline pretty soon, and we want to get that out there to you guys too. We want to make the Masterworks kind of the top shelf label for Privateer Press, and there's really a lot we can do with it. So I hope you guys are gonna grasp the concept and run with it.
All right, so hey, I think that's it, right? So thanks for joining the preview panel here with us, and we've got more surprises to come throughout the year. Like, we've always got a few aces up our sleeve, and I think if you sit tight for a few minutes, we've got the Iron Painter rolling in. So.
And we've definitely got a couple of surprises coming with that, and as well as a chance to win some pretty awesome prizes. So you definitely want to stick around and hope to answer a couple questions right.
All right, lock and load.
Thanks, guys.